people that have mentored me is it's always to win. So, coming in here, I didn't really necessarily look at, I know the history of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. I know the history of recent success. And, I think that's why they brought me, hoping maybe I could be that little spark plug or edge for those guys. And, I was devastated that he didn't win the World Tournament. So, we expected it, and we expect bigger and better things, I think, and moving forward for sure.
Could you give us a rundown of your performance this past week in Colorado Springs and Vancouver for the Hawk Club members?
The Schultz was all right. I thought we wrestled pretty good outside of Dardanes, and that comes down to better weight management with the new rules switch in place. It's night before a weigh-in. You can't cut. You got to cut weight the right way. And as far as Burak, I thought he wrestled basically a flawless tournament outside of. You're up 5-0 with 24 seconds left. Gives up a position. The guy tried a horrendous throw, and we landed on top, and they gave him an appreciation point, which I probably should have. In hindsight, I probably should have thrown the cube, but the guy was so tired that they actually passed it and won the guy because he wouldn't get up and come back to the center. And then they waved it off, so it was 5-1. He wasn't ready. The guy shot and ran him out of bounds. Kind of like Gilman against Japan in the finals, where that's not caution and two, but they caution two'd him and comes back out. 4 seconds left in the match, gets taken down, so. That last 24 seconds was ugly, but he wrestled flawless outside of that. He controlled every tie. No one scored a point. No one touched him. And then Lauren won the tournament, so that went her way. And then Corey didn't get the result we were hoping for over there, but he'll build throughout the year. And it's about, that weight's crucial, 61 kilos. Whoever wins the U.S. Open is going to be a heavy, heavy favorite.
What's the upcoming schedule for Hawk Club members for the rest of the year?
Well, Gilman will go to Poland. Or sorry, not Gilman. Sammy goes to Poland here Thanksgiving weekend, wrestles for a world title. Gilman will go to Iran, which I don't know the exact list, but I know the Iranian, I know the #1 Russian, he'll wrestle just as tough a competition, if not tougher than he did at the World Championships. So, we're kind of hoping to really make that claim at the top. The Japanese guy might be there as well. So he's going to wrestle 5 legit guys, and then the rest of the club guys, most likely will compete at the end of January and February. There's a ton of, that's really the international season. That's kind of the kickoff. So most of those guys will compete one time there, and then their next event will be the U.S. Open. Whereas Gilman will go Iran, probably one of those tournaments like Urigan or something, and then instead of going to the U.S. Open for him, since he's already sitting at the top, he'll go to the World Cup.
And the Schultz was the first we've seen the new rules for the new weight classes and the new weigh-ins.
Yeah.
How do you think that'll be a benefit for Iowa Wrestling, the Iowa Wrestling background with the 2 weigh-ins, the 2-day weigh-ins?
I think it's a huge benefit for Iowa Wrestling. If, at that level, and obviously that's what we're working on right now with Gilman and every guy in here is, progressing that skill level and that tactical level at that senior level to the highest on the planet. But if you want to make it simpler, it makes conditioning a much bigger factor. And it's either going to be for Thomas Gilman, and like I stated before with Chris Dardanes, Boris Novachkov, all the lightweight guys. The guys that are anybody that's cutting, a good amount of weight. It's going to be a monster advantage, or it's going to be a monster disadvantage.
Can you tell us a bit about Boris? I know that you go way back with him as a coach. What can you tell us Iowans that maybe have not seen him? We remember him from college, but what can you tell us about his international style? What he brings to the room and to the program?
I think that's the biggest thing. What he brings to the room is, something that doesn't exist in here as far as style-wise. He's got a full European style. And he's dangerous in a lot, down low, up high, but I think the biggest thing is he's world class. He beat Romanov In 15, he beat Asgarov. You know, the guys that were first, second, third in the Olympics. You know, he's a world-class guy, and it's just going to be a huge benefit. Not even just for the middleweights, but those guys in the lightweights. You know, his skill level. I'm biased, but I thought in 2015 he was the best technician in the world. You know, ahead of Romanov and Asgarov, or he wouldn't have beat him that easy. You know, but he's a phenomenal technician, and it's just. I mean, it's awesome to have a guy that caliber, you know, in here for these guys to rub elbows with, and they're not going to wrestle anybody at the NCAA tournament tougher than him. So.
And when will he be competing?
Probably around that same time, second. You know, he was ranked number 1 heading into the World Championships this year and didn't compete. And the guy that won it, he had beat Europeans, so that had a, you know. I mean, that's not easy for a competitor to not go, knowing you're right there at the top. You know, he had an injury that he's recovering. He had to recover from, and I think his plan, you know, our plan for him is that same time as there's the Dan Kalaev, which is in Bulgaria, the Regan, the France, whatever they call them, Grand Prix of France or something. They're all about that from January 20th to February 15th, there's 5 tournaments, so in that range probably, one of those events.
When you look at U23s and a new tournament, you start game planning for opponents.
Yep.
What goes into that? I mean, because right now we don't know who's on the entry list.
I know.
You do? Okay.
No, right. I don't know, but I
think we got all but
dig really, really, really deep. You know, have connections around in the world. You know, people that have ties to Turkey or have ties to Russia, have ties to Iran. You know, you have an idea. You got an idea. It's A, B, or C, and it's most likely A. You know, it's most likely A for this event. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be surprised if certain weights were tougher than the Senior World Championships. You know, when you really break down the age. Most of these Europeans are under 23 years old that are at the top of the world, you know, so I think Russia will send a monster team. I think the Russian is going to be the Russian that was at the Dave Schultz. I know who the Turk is going to be. He's, you know, I know the Iranian. We know who's going to be there. We're ready. And, like I was telling them before, I think, you know, on paper and accolades, those guys would probably be favorites, but I think this style of wrestling, you know, the push out changes the game for a guy like Sammy Brooks. You know, you can go back and look at losses for this guy or this guy through college. Well, you know, there might have been a 1-1 match, you know, one that's going in my head with an Illinois guy that was 2 studs wrestling, but the guy went out of bounds 14 times to prevent action, you know, and I'm sure, I didn't watch Sammy's career in depth, you know, but I'm sure he had guys that didn't engage with him, you know, and when guys have to engage with him, he's pretty dang good. So I feel good and know the style of the guys that he's going to have to beat to be a world champion. I know where they're super dangerous, and I think that's the biggest thing, is we're going to force those guys to wrestle our style, and we're going to force hell on them, but the difference is that respect level for whatever that Russian. We cannot get hit with a low single. You know, he low singles you, he'll put you in a lace match over 20 seconds. We shut him down, and I think he'll crack, you know.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. Thank you. You bet.